In June 2020, Chris D'Elia began to trend on social media after various women accused him of sexual misconduct when they were underage. Some were even as young as 16 at the time. Many declared he sent inappropriate messages to them and even tried to solicit nude photos. One woman even accused him of trying to groom her. Of course, celebrities are always getting into trouble and having all kinds of rumors spread about them, so you never know exactly what to believe. Yet in this video, we've gathered information from reliable sources to help you learn the truth behind all the allegations against Chris D'Elia. Encounter with Megan DRUST. The night D'Elia exposed himself to actress Megan DRUST, they had been at Jones Restaurant in West Hollywood with a friend. DRUST states she had met D'Elia a few times before that night and considered him a simple acquaintance. DRUST, who was 26 at the time, told CNN that as she was getting ready to leave, D'Elia asked her for a ride home. Quote, "I said sure. This was really before everyone was taking Ubers, and I had marked him as safe, which equals a non-threatening male. He was friends with some of my friends. I had met him before. That's what you do. At least that's what I did. You mark certain people as safe." DRUST said they walked to her car, which was parked on a nearby street, but once they were inside her car, she said things took an unsettling turn. Quote, "We are both sitting there and I'm like, where are we going? And Chris is leaning up against the door of the passenger side and looking at me in this really weird way. And then he started to make flirty small talk. I was very confused because it didn't fit in the moment. Then he took down his zipper and asked me to touch him. And I said, 'What are you doing?' 'No.' And because I wouldn't touch him, he started to masturbate. I couldn't believe it." DRUST said she got out of the car at that point. She said she didn't want to make him mad or upset because she was in survival mode. She said he climaxed in his pants and then zipped everything up, and I said, "What's wrong with you?" She said D'Elia got out of her car but continued to make her uneasy. She said, quote, "I got back into my car, he shut the door and kind of just stood towards the hood and looked at me without saying anything and then just walked away." DRUST confessed to CNN she cried during her drive home. She said a few days later she expressed what had happened to two of her friends, which they later confirmed to CNN. DRUST once again ran into D'Elia a few months later, this time at a different restaurant in LA called Pink Taco. She states, quote, "I'm standing there talking to my friends and I remember a guy's voice with his lips right next to my ear say, 'You.' I turned around and it was him. I just remembered being flustered and very uncomfortable." A friend that was with DRUST during the second encounter with D'Elia later confirmed it all to CNN. Hey, if you're enjoying this video so far, make sure you give it a like and subscribe to our channel to keep up to date with all of our releases. Encounter with hotel manager. Two other women spoke with CNN and described in-person encounters with D'Elia that occurred shortly before or on the days he was scheduled to perform a show in or close to cities in which they lived at the time. One of those women was a manager at the Kimpton Schofield Hotel in Cleveland, where D'Elia stayed as a guest in March of 2018. D'Elia was in town because he had a performance at the Cleveland Masonic Theater. The woman, 24 at the time, has asked to remain anonymous as she feared professional repercussions. One night around midnight, she received a call at the front desk from D'Elia. She was the overnight manager on duty at the time, and he called to complain the air conditioner wasn't working and requested assistance. There weren't any electricians available, so she decided to go up to the room and help. She says when she knocked on the door, he opened the door and was completely naked. She says she immediately turned around without saying anything and went back to the front desk. She called her fiancé at the time and explained to him her encounter with D'Elia. She then received another call a few minutes later from D'Elia, requesting yet again assistance with the air conditioning. She told him he would need to wait for the electrician the following morning. That night and the next morning, the woman also told two co-workers what had occurred. The woman declared she had never seen any of D'Elia's work before his stay at the hotel, but she had been previously informed he would be a guest there, which was a typical protocol with all high-profile guests. She then said she Googled his picture once she returned to the front desk. She then confirmed the naked man at the door was indeed Chris D'Elia. Several hours later, after her shift ended, she reported the incident to her manager. The Kimpton Hotel Group expressed to CNN in a statement, "No incidents of guest misconduct were reported by guests or staff at the Kimpton Schofield Hotel during the dates in question. At Kimpton, the safety of our guests and our people is our top priority. We investigate all incident reports that are filed. However, it's our policy to not disclose identifying information about our employees or our guests outside of law enforcement or regulatory authorities. Laura VITARELLI also had an uncomfortable encounter. She told CNN D'Elia exposed himself to her and a friend in 2015. She was 19 at the time. Laura and another friend of hers had gone to watch one of his shows in Levity Live in West Nyack, New York, and they were both excited to meet him. After taking photos with her and her friend, D'Elia exchanged numbers with them and invited them to a party. VITARELLI said it turned out to be his hotel. VITARELLI recalled that when they walked into D'Elia's room, the lights were off and he was watching Cops and eating a bowl of shrimp scampi. She then states that D'Elia asked them to put their cell phones in a basket when entering the room. VITARELLI states, there was no sign of a party at all. He said he was going to make us drinks and her and I were both a little nervous just because it really didn't look like he was about to throw a party. There was nobody else there. As they began to feel a little nervous and deceived, she said they accepted the drinks. VITARELLI noted that D'Elia, however, didn't pour himself one. VITARELLI said D'Elia then proceeded to sit in between them on the couch and almost immediately, quote, put one of each of his hands down our backsides and started groping us. VITARELLI said she looked at her friend who seemed frightened, and they made up an excuse to leave. VITARELLI says he got up with us and followed us to the door and said, are you sure you want to leave? And he pulled out his penis and it was fully erect. VITARELLI continues to say it was uncomfortable for the both of us, and we knew we had to get out of there, so we left as fast as we could. Her friend, who confirmed the incident to CNN, asked that her name not be included in this story for fear of backlash from D'Elia's fanbase. After VITARELLI and other women posted allegations about him on social media in June, D'Elia released a statement to TMZ that said, among other things, quote, all of my relationships have been both legal and consensual. He also apologized and explained, I really am truly sorry. I was a dumb guy who absolutely let myself get caught up in my lifestyle. That's my fault. I own it. I've been reflecting on this for some time now, and I promise I will continue to do better. Despite his apology, VITARELLI has hired attorney J. Ellwanger and is currently pursuing a civil complaint. Said Ellwanger, Laura VITARELLI has shared horrific stories about how she suffered at the hands of Chris D'Elia and his team. While the legal system can never undo what was done, we will work tirelessly to provide her and the other women we represent with a measure of justice as we work to stop this predatory behavior. So what do you think about Chris D'Elia? Do you buy his attempts at becoming a better person, or is it part of an act? Let us know in the comments section below, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and click the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content.
With your head like somebody's fucking